Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you our 2012 Big 12 Conference Preview. We're going to take a look at the Big 12, top to bottom. So let's start with the recruiting class to see how well these teams recruited this past offseason. I think the Texas Longhorns had the best recruiting class in the Big 12. This class is littered with 4- and 5-star prospects, but the one guy that stands out the most is running back Jonathan Gray out of Aledo, Texas. When you look at this guy play, you think, man, this guy can't be that good, but over 11,000 yards in high school says, yes, he is that good. Team him up next to Malcolm Brown, and the Longhorns have an outstanding running back combination. The Baylor Bears have themselves a fine linebacking prospect in Brian Nance, 6'2", 210. Speed and athletic is the name of his game, and this guy excels in pass coverage. You look at Iowa State getting another linebacker that fits their mold, Adam Pavlenko. This guy does a great job sifting through traffic and is explosive on the point of attack. Tevin Shaw I saw a lot of out here in New Jersey. This guy's an outstanding running back prospect. Fits the mold for what Charlie Weiss wants in his offense, a guy that can catch the football out of the backfield with the speed to take it the distance. In my opinion, Wesley Hollingshed will be a disruptive force on the interior of their Wildcats defensive line. I could have easily put Wes Lunt here, but I went with the receiver, Brandon Shepard. He needs targets to throw the football to, and this guy would be a great one out there in Stillwater. Oklahoma just finds fine receiving targets. Deron Neal is a guy that's going to play right away. Explosive playmaker, can also help out in many different ways, especially on special teams. I like what I said of TCU's quarterback, Tyler Matthews. This is a guy that doesn't wait until receivers are open to throw the football. He takes chances, and that's what I like about a quarterback. Michael Starks of Texas Tech epitomizes the phrase strong at the point of attack. 6'4", 283 should be a fine prospect for the Red Raiders. Sam Levy is an outstanding linebacking prospect for West Virginia. Fits their mold of guys that are effective blitzers. I think the Oklahoma Sooners have the best collection of quarterbacks. Landry Jones is a veteran guy that put up a lot of stats in that offense, but I'm a big fan of Blake Bell. I think he actually should be the starter. I like what he brings to the table, that Tebow effect. And Drew Allen's a very good quarterback in his own right, so collectively they have the best unit in the Big 12. Best running back unit has to go to TCU. Even without Ed Wesley, Wayman James and Matthew Tucker are two outstanding tailbacks, and they will put up a lot of yards this year to help bolster that offense. The West Virginia Mountaineers wide receiving core is the best in the Big 12. These guys are ready to terrorize secondaries this season. You look at guys like Stedman Bailey, Ivan McCartney, I want you to keep an eye on, and also Tavon Austin. These guys just put up tremendous numbers, and they're always making big plays downfield. I'm a big fan of the Oklahoma Sooners offensive line. I think they're the best in the conference. People think passing attack with Oklahoma, but don't realize that these guys plow open holes in the running game. Just look back at that Florida State game last year, how they dominated the line of scrimmage. Best unit in the conference. The way football is being played now, you have to be able to get to the quarterback, and Texas has two outstanding defensive ends in Jackson Jeffcoat and Alex Okafor. Both guys will be playing on Sundays and be effective at the next level. The Cyclones may have the best linebacking core in the country. When you look at guys like Jake Knott, A.J. Klein, very workmanlike efforts and guys that come to play week in, week out, and they always end up with the ball in their hands. But keep an eye on C.J. Morgan, a young sophomore linebacker. He's going to put up some outstanding numbers this season. Speed, athleticism, and playmaking abilities accurately describes the Texas Longhorns secondary. They're led by Kenny Vaccaro, a guy that could have been a first-round pick last year. But keep an eye on true sophomore Quandre Diggs. This guy was an outstanding player last year as a true freshman, showed up big in key moments. K-State does it the right way. They win with solid offense. They don't beat themselves, and their special teams is always outstanding. Guys like Cantelli and also Ryan Dorr, the punter, but there's always a Lockett on his ball club, and he's always an outstanding returner. Tyler Lockett is one of the best returners in the Big 12. Joseph Randle gets my vote as offensive MVP. When you're breaking in a new true freshman quarterback, you're going to lean on the running game a little bit, and this guy is explosive. Give him a lane. He can take it the distance. He's built like a receiver, but this guy has tremendous skill set for a running back. Defensive MVP, I have to go with Tony Jefferson, one of my favorite players. This guy is always around the ball and always making plays, whether it be interceptions or big tackles. I'm a big fan of the way he plays football out there in Oklahoma. Jonathan Gray gets my vote for Freshman of the Year. I think this guy's going to be put in position to make big plays for the Longhorns, and he definitely has the speed to take it the distance. Interested to see how well he does this year as a true freshman. Geno Smith gets my vote as the best pro prospect in the Big 12. I look at what he brings to the table: arm strength, accuracy, poise, and leadership. He will take West Virginia to new heights this season. I think the Jayhawks will be improved this season over last year. Last year, they couldn't throw themselves out of a paper bag. Now they bring over Dane Chris from Notre Dame and also Charlie Weiss, an offensive mastermind, to help coach up that offense. They have a solid running game with Pearson and Sims, and that right there is going to improve the offense. The biggest question is defensively. Can they stop people? Can they get off the field on third down? And can they create turnovers? I like what I see out of Tobin Opram, the defensive end, but they need help around him. They bring in a lot of JUCO guys to try to help out right away. So I think Kansas, although finishing last in the conference, still will be much improved over 2011. Next up are the Texas Tech Red Raiders. What I like most about Texas Tech is that their offensive skill positions, there's no question marks right there, especially if Eric Stevens returns to the backfield. This guy's a tremendous playmaker, brings everything that you want out the running back position. The question lies on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Can they protect up front, and can they get pressure and stop the run on the defensive side of the football? And also the schedule. Their toughest games are all on the road, so they can make a run at home, get some good games at home, but they have to beat teams, tough teams on the road. If they can do so, if they can win one of those ball games, they can find themselves in a bowl game this season. The Cyclones, in my opinion, are better than what people are giving them credit for. Look at this team on the defensive side of the football. Yes, you could look at their defensive line, but I think that may be a strength this year as they get guys coming back from injury. Team them up with the best linebacking core in the country, and you have a formidable front seven that can protect your secondary as the youth is taking place now, as they lost some key guys like Leonard Johnson. Offensively, they can run the football. The offensive line still has a lot of depth and talent up front. They have two quarterbacks, in my opinion, that can both play. The question is, they have to settle on one, and both guys have to cut back on the turnovers. Look for Iowa State to be in a bowl game at the end of the season because they're a very well coached ball club. Usually losing a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback could set your program back for at least 2 years, but not the Baylor Bears. I think they still have enough talent on the roster to be competitive. The reason why, they still have a lot of speed. They have a lot of talent at the skill positions, and I look at the offensive line being a veteran group, doing a great job blocking up front in the spring. Defensively is where all of their question marks lie. They have to do a better job of stopping opponents, getting teams off the field, and they have to do a great job of competing. Yes, they're fast. They can get there, but can they make the play? That's the biggest question about Baylor. They also have a tough road slate. They got to win a lot of big games on the road this year. Keep an eye on Oregon transfer Lake Seastrunk. This guy should have a tremendous impact on his ball club and may put up some huge numbers. All in all, when you combine defensive question marks with a very tough road schedule, I see Baylor taking a slight step back this season. As long as Bill Snyder is coaching the Kansas State Wildcats, they always have a chance to do something special each and every season. What I like most about this team, I like Colin Klein, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. This guy is underrated. What he brings to the table, his leadership, and the fact that he can keep the chains moving on offense. Defensively, they're going to have to do something about the secondary. They gave up a lot of big plays last year via the air, and if they can get pressure on the QB, the secondary will look a lot better. Big fan of linebacker Arthur Brown, solid playmaker, one of the best linebackers in the country. K-State's question offensively has to come with the passing game. They got to involve some type of passing attack in order to keep defenses honest. If they can do that, this is a very tough team that no one will want to play this season. I'm a bit conflicted on Oklahoma State, which is probably why I have them settled right in the middle of the Big 12, finishing 5th. They're starting a true freshman quarterback in West Hunt. He's replacing Brandon Wheaton. There's some questions at the receiver position going in after losing Blackman. But the offensive line, some may say it's a question. I think, honestly, they'll be fine there because there's senior leadership on the offensive front. Defensively, the best unit on the defense is their linebacking core. Can they get pressure on the quarterback, and can they stop opponents from gashing them through the air? That's the biggest questions I have about Oklahoma State. It's not about the talent. It's just about where their talent is located. Right now, there's a lot of questions going in. But if they can get on the road early with the first 3 games of the season, this team could be dangerous down the stretch. In my opinion, TCU is sitting in the catbird seat of the Big 12. They have a lot of talent offensively. They're fast defensively as well, and they have the schedule that sets up nice. This team can realistically get on a run and be 7-0 by the time they meet Oklahoma State on October 27th. So keep an eye on this ball club. The questions lie with the defense. Can they replace the production and leadership from guys like Brock and Carter at the linebacking positions? If they can do so, this is a team that can make some noise in the Big 12. Where I have questions is the quarterback position. Casey Paul Hall is a talented guy, but can he make the necessary progressions on the field and off the field to keep the passing game from being a detriment to team success? If they can do so, again, maybe not this year, but next year, TCU will be a force in the Big 12. I like when Texas decided to rededicate themselves to the running game. That's why they were 21st in the nation in running the football. Jonathan Gray comes in, the hotshot true freshman, team him up with last year's hotshot freshman Malcolm Brown. They should put up some big numbers on the ground. They have a very good defense. Their defensive line, secondary, very stout, quite possibly one of the best secondaries in the country. Now, the question I have about Texas, the inexperience at the receiving corps. They're going to have to find some playmakers to make some plays downfield, and the quarterback, David Ash, has to step up and make plays consistently. If that passing game catches fire, this could be a dangerous team this season. This is still a very talented Sooners ball club. They have a veteran quarterback in Landry Jones behind the best offensive line in the conference and one of the best running games in the conference with Finch and Whaley. And also throwing to a veteran wide receiver in Kenny Stills. Keep an eye on true freshman wide receiver Trey Matoyer to come in and contribute right away. Defensively is where I have the questions. They lose a lot of key playmakers, but they do have a veteran guy back there in Tony Jefferson that makes a lot of plays, one of the best playmakers in the country. The question I have is the schedule, in particular the back half of the schedule. They have to travel to West Virginia, TCU, and they also get Oklahoma State in between that. Can they win on the road? They proved last year by going into Florida State and winning. If they can do so, this is another team that you can keep in a discussion for the national title. I have the Mountaineers finishing first in the Big 12 Conference. I like what they bring to the table offensively. Geno Smith is the best quarterback in the country, and I have him actually rated as my #1 prospect going into the 2013 draft as far as quarterbacks is concerned. Tremendous targets to throw the football to in Austin and Bailey and company, and 8 starters return on a defense. Yes, they lose Bruce Irvin. They have to replace him. He was their leader as far as sacks are concerned, but overall, this team has explosiveness on offense. They are always active defensively, and they will put up a lot of points on anybody in the country. Plus, they get Oklahoma at home. You have to like the chances of the Mountaineers this season. And quietly, they could be a dark horse candidate for the national title.